there's nothing quite like a victory Monday in Baltimore. The Ravens emerged victorious on the road in Cincinnati on Sunday in a hostile environment, taking down the Bengals 27-24. And with that, welcome inside the vault. I'm Bobby Trossett, as always, joined by my co-host and partner, Sarah Ellison. It is September 18th. It's week 3 in the NFL now, of course, after the Monday night games. But before we actually transition to week 3, which is the Indianapolis Colts and another home game inside the bank, Sarah, we love Mondays around these parts because we get an exclusive conversation with our guy, Roquan Smith. It's Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith, powered by Cybertech. And before we get into it, allow us to tell you a little bit about how this is possible, and that's our exclusive sponsor, Cybertech, a next-generation local recruiting, resourcing, and outsourcing firm. We're talking about a new way to acquire resources. Whether you're in need of new hires, contingent staff, or just seeking to outsource a business or technical function, Cybertech is the organization for you. If you're in need of resources and candidates and don't have the time to sift through dozens of resumes, Cybertech is a company that really understands your needs and presents candidates that are not in the open market within 48 hours, and that is a promise. Cybertech has over 40 years of combined experience in working with some of the largest organizations throughout the Baltimore area and nationally. So if you're interested, you'll get a chance to meet myself, Sarah, and the Cybertech team for a virtual introduction. You can get started by reaching out to them via the email that we have provided in the show notes below. We've already taped this episode, so we'll talk about it on the other side. But can we just kind of set it up, Sarah, in saying that this is probably a can't miss one?
Yeah, I'll just say this. Ravens Vault listeners are in for a treat because Roquan, he's not afraid to say a thing or two, and he had things to say about the Bengals.
He certainly did. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter, our brand new Twitter account @RavensVault, for different clips, most notably what he had to say that we feel like the fan base is going to be fired up on. It is available in the audio only space as well, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Google Play, you name it. It's all there and available for you. We're so thrilled. This is the second of 10 episodes where we will be exclusively chatting with Roquan throughout this season. And without further ado, let's bring in the man himself, Agent Zero. All right, Roquan, you remember what you told us last week. It was something along the lines of, and I quote, I'm sure they'll come home pissed off, but we'll be in there pissed off as well. I like our chances. How satisfying was that plane ride home from Cincinnati?
Oh, it was an amazing plane ride back home, getting a dub there in their house, in front of their fans, after, everything they've said over the years and over the time I've been here, man. So it was definitely a pretty sweet victory, and it's nothing like beating a man in his own house.
Roquan, we talked about this. I almost had a plea to you to please silence the Bengals because they have been talkers. And the defense as a whole, silenced Chase very well. He only finished with 31 receiving yards, no touchdowns. How good did it feel to kind of silence them, as you said, in their house?
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling just to be able to, go in there. Some people would say we were shorthanded in a sense, but personally, I didn't feel us being shorthanded at all. I have the utmost faith in every single guy that I step on the field with out there. So when we going out there and going to war with each other, I have the most respect for those guys, and I know we have everything to do to get the job done. So I was just excited to get out there and silence those guys and get the job done, honestly.
You told us that every game is personal for you, right? Which included, obviously, yesterday in Cincinnati. Do you get the sense that your peers, your teammates felt like that there was some bulletin board material that you guys needed to take care of coming off of, obviously, last year's heartbreak in January?
Oh, absolutely. Every game is personal, like I said, but there was definitely, some scars from that game. And, you don't forget those things like that and the things that some of the guys say, and the little mentality that they have and just say little cheap things here and there. So, like I said yesterday, revenge is best served as a cold dish. So it was awesome to being able to do it the way we did.
Yeah, you got that filthy shirt on today. I'll let you know. I live in Ohio, Roquan. So I went to the gym this morning sporting my Ravens gear. Just happy to go around to all these Bengals fans out here. I'm not too popular, but I don't mind. Roquan, what does it mean? I mean, these are the reigning division champs, and now they're down 0-2, not just on the season, but in the division. Ravens 2-0, 1-0 in the division. What does it mean to start off this way early in the season?
Oh, it's great to start off this way, 2-0, 1-0 in the division, and just having that momentum rolling into the season. It's no better way to start the season than 2-0, and I feel like, we're still gelling together right now. So I'm thinking with more time, mid-season form, when we're all just clicking on all cylinders, it's going to get really scary. But I'm just excited for the growth that we're going to have week in and week out, and I think we just have so much potential here.
I'm sure you've seen the viral videos of what your head coach did when the final score went complete on the sideline. This is a 60-year-old dude whose biceps look like he's, 30 years old. I mean, the guy is in incredible shape. Clearly, he was fired up about this win. What's it like playing underneath him? Have you ever played for somebody who has that kind of pride and also just has a way of relating to you guys that seems to be unique?
Yeah, man, I have a lot of respect for Harbs, and he works out just as much as the players, if not more than the players. Honestly, man, the guy's always in there lifting and doing things. I ask myself sometimes, like, why is this man doing all these things, But it's great being able to play with a guy with his mindset. He just wants you to just go out, dominate all game, fiery, and just, like, have that passion in him. And I'm a passionate guy as well, so I love when people are fiery and just wants to get the job done by any means necessary.
Well, you and John are similar in the sense that there's no excuses, and you just said that you didn't feel like you were shorthanded. But Ronnie, this is crazy. The depth of this team. You lose Ronnie Stanley, Tyler Linderbaum, McCary Mustipher fill in like they're not gone. J.K. Dobbins goes down for the season. Justice and Gus comes in and have a day. Marlon Humphrey, we're waiting for him. I know he's coming back soon, but Rocky Sin back there on Chase, stripping the ball. Gino Stone with the game-changing interception. Like, how is that possible, Roquan? I mean, it's one thing to lose one or two starters, but you guys have like 6 down.
Yeah, I think every single guy that steps out there on the field is a starter. And I think it just goes back to each and every individual. Like Gino, if he was somewhere else, he would probably be starting in this league, And a lot of the guys that we have with just having the depth pieces, they could be starting plenty other places across the league, but we're so talented. But when they are out there, they are considered starters, and they are starters. And then I just take it back to the preparation from Mike McDonald, echoed out from Hewitt and D. Will in the DB room, and having those guys just ready and knowing the opponent inside and out. And I feel like once you know that, that's more than half the battle. So I think once you're mentally prepared, the physical part will just end up coming along.
Not long before we just started taping this, your guy Gino tweeted out, everyone's first words when they seen me today so far is, why didn't you cut inside? Of course, referring to him running out of bounds after he intercepted Joe Burrow, which was a heck of a great vision there. Great, almost like intuition there from Gino. Were you one of those guys getting on him this morning?
Oh, I got on him yesterday about it, but I for sure seen him this morning. And I definitely said something again to him, but, got to let it rest. I was happy he was able to get the pick, but he was probably out of gas, because if he would have cut it back, he would have probably been dancing in the end zone. So it was a pretty sweet, and he disguised the heck out of it. And it's funny that he literally said earlier that day he was going to catch a pick in that call. So it was pretty crazy how he said it, and then it happened.
Manifested it into existence. I like it. Roquan, I thought I picked up in your post-game locker room, I thought you had said something that you felt like Burrow thought he had you. Like, was he focused on you to help get Gino on that pick, or were you referring to a different play?
Oh, so yeah, I'm sure he probably thought, I think what you call that, the drive climb, something like that. So where the receiver normally tries to come in at the mic and then climb back up. But Gino had my back on that play, so I wasn't responsible for carrying that. And so I guess he only read that side of the field, and then Gino was on the backside kind of acted like he was going one way, but then came back and seen that because we knew that route for sure. And then Gino, because I couldn't believe he actually threw it because I knew Gino was going to be right there. But I guess when I was rotating back, I guess he thought it was just me by myself. And then Gino came out of nowhere, and I literally was looking at him like, when he was catching him, like, please don't drop it. I'm literally watching him eyeing and bringing it in. So it was pretty sweet. And I wish he just would have scored on it. But it was definitely a game-changing play, and I'm very excited for Gino.
It was funny to watch the replay, how quickly you started running with him to become a blocker. As soon as he intercepted that, you were running with those guys ready to hopefully take it to the house. That's actually fascinating to me because, we've seen how seamless of a transition Gino's made right in place of Marcus Williams. But can you just kind of give us an idea how much of a challenge that transition is for a guy who maybe wasn't running with the ones all summer long? Like, you guys just communicate as if you've been running all. Now, I know that you guys get a bunch of different reps, I'm sure, throughout the course of an off season and the summer, but just speak to that transition that he made.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Gino, he prepares just like a pro, day in and day out, acts as if he was a starter, even when he was not a starter. And then think about it. Gino started when I was here last season. I know Gino started at least the first 3-4 games that I was here. So he's played good ball, and Gino can make plays, and, he trusts himself. He believes in himself, day in and day out, and knowing that he has everything it takes to get the job done and be a quality starter in this league. And so he was just ready. He's been ready for the moment. And when the opportunities come his way, he take advantage of them. And he's an opportunist. So I got a lot of respect for him.
And Roquan, can you go into the play from Roquan when it was just, I wish we could play it. We can't play it as the NFL copyright, but just the way, Chase had that ball. Like, he had both those hands on that ball. He's a strong guy. And Roquan, simultaneously rips it out while taking him to the ground. You came running over to cheer with them. To me, it reminded me, again, last year when Worley did that on Chase, and you gave that little nudge. There was no nudge this time, but you came over to celebrate just the same.
Yeah, I don't think that, first and foremost, the nudge last year, that wasn't intentional. I was just trying to go over to celebrate with my guys, so we're going to say that. And so maybe if he would have walked in my way, maybe he would have got a nudge, but that would have been a little egregious if I would have went over there. He was walking my way last time. So, I was coming on my track, and he ended up being on the track. But with Rock, I guess he's strong, but I guess Chase wasn't strong enough on that play. Rock is doing a little more bicep and tricep and a little more bench press to being able to get that out. So I was very excited for Rock on that play. Him being able to snatch that ball out of there, because that was a game changing play, and there was some big momentum right there as well. So got a lot of respect for Rock, the way Rock, was banged up during camp and stuff, and the way he's just been fighting back. The guy's gritty. So I have a lot of respect for him, and I think there's a lot of great things in store for Rock.
Speaking of momentum too, Sarah and I talked about it on our post-game show last night, that we hope this it allows Rock to start stacking. And you just mentioned it, that he was sort of hurt and that set him back throughout summer camp. But do you get the sense that he's starting to become healthy, and that may be the reason for the rotation on the outside with him and Darby, or where is he at right now physically?
Yeah, no, I got a lot of respect for the Rock and the way he goes to work week in and week out. I'm not sure with the rotation and all those things. I just know whoever's out there, I give them the call, and I have the utmost faith in whoever it is, whether it's Rock, Darby, or whoever. It could be Joe Blow. So whoever it is, I have the utmost respect, and I know D. Will, Chris, them guys gonna make sure those guys are coached up to the best of their ability, and knowing that they're gonna go out there ready to play. But I like Darby and Rock both a lot, and I think they both can get the job done any given Sunday.
Well, how about over on the other side of the ball? The offense. People are saying it might take a month, for the offense because it's so new. You got a new offensive coordinator. Lamar Jackson is now 7-1 as a starter against the Bengals. He's 3-0 in Cincy. He makes a difference, but how defense. I remember during the training camp, you said, you've got a few times by the offense, and you're going against them every single day. As a defensive player, how do you stop Lamar Jackson and all these weapons and this great coordinator with Todd Monken?
Yeah. Your guess is just as good as mine, if I'm being honest. But yeah, man, it's a lot of weapons on that offensive side of the ball. In a great offensive line as well, guys that work really well with each other. And I'm just excited for those guys to keep gelling amongst each other. But with Lamar, man, the guy's so special. The guy can do whatever. He can throw it deep, as we see. He can take off and run. He can do the intermediate game. You got Mark, and you have so many different weapons. He can hit you, and you can't pack the box. Then he throw it over your head. You pack, and then you do a light box. You can run the ball. And so it's just like so many different ways that he can like beat you. So I'm just glad I'm on his side of the sticks, as opposed to being on the other side.
What about this championship mindset, right? He gets up on the podium afterwards and he says, and of course you see Harbs and how much it meant to him, and everybody's fired up afterwards as everybody should have been. But Lamar gets up almost subdued, composed, and this championship mindset. He says, this doesn't mean anything. When you see somebody like that who has been in the year, this is his 6th NFL season, obviously his resume and track record speaks for itself to this point. What does that do to a locker room for you guys?
Oh, absolutely. I know how Lamar thinks, and Lamar wants to win the big thing. That's his mindset day in and day out. Every time I talk to him, he just want to do everything it takes to get to the big dance. And, that's my vision as well. So knowing that that's his vision, putting us in the big dance, doing everything he possibly can, and just taking it 1 week at a time. And we're not, it's like we beat the Bengals. We expect to beat them, and we should. So that's definitely something. But there was a lot of emotions for a lot of individuals riding from the game last year. But it was just the next game up on the schedule. So we're moving on from that. And I know just talking with him, he's just excited week in and week out, just keep going to the next opponent and then doing everything we can to get to the big dance and winning it all. But it's a process.
So, Roquan, before we get to just 2 fan questions we got here, you were wired last week, the Ravens production crew, my old crew. I used to work for the Ravens there. I worked with them. They had you wired, and there were so many clips I wanted to pull to get your reaction of, but I'll just do this one. Let's watch. This is like maybe 15 seconds, and I got a question for you on the other side.
But the sun coming out, the Terminator coming out.
I thought you was operating.
I'm all that.
You gotta pick one.
I'm all that.
You gotta pick one, bro.
I'm all that.
You gotta pick
Agent Zero, Operator, Terminator,
you gotta pick one.
whatever you need me to be.
Courtesy there of Ravens production. So good. I agree with you. I don't think you have to pick one, but here's my question. Is there a different alter ego with one of those? Like, what does Agent Zero bring versus Terminator versus the Operator?
Yeah, no. So I think all of them just bring me, just whatever situation you need me to be. Agent Zero, Operator, you just one call, just dial 0. I'll be there. The Terminator, I can come tear something up. So like, I feel like whatever the play is that my guys need me, I can be any and every single one of those at any given moment. So it's a pretty sweet gig, and it's just always about having fun out there with the guys, and I always have fun just being able to shoot the crap with them and just being out there and enjoying each other's company.
Well, we knew you were having fun in one of those tackles. You're literally bringing somebody down, and as you're doing it, you're like, I love this game. I love this. I was like, the passion.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to love it. You got to love it.
I got a feeling that's not the last time we're going to be sharing a clip of you mic'd up, but let's get to some fan questions. Again, I think everybody just really appreciates that you're open to chatting with them at the end of our show. And Don, it's not a question, but Don Mills just wanted to say thank you for the jersey exchange with me being here in Tennessee. Awesome cause, what his foundation is doing with the number 18s. And we certainly echo that, Roquan.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Don. Been a big fan, man. That's amazing. Glad we was able to make that happen.
All right. Steven, Star 8 MVP. Ask him if that 13-1 Connect 4 record against Del'Shawn Phillips is legit.
Dale was just talking. So Dale has beaten me before, but Dale is not 13-1 versus me. And then I the last 2 times I played Dale, I beat Dale. So Dale was just on camera and kind of got, a little spicy because he lost. And I told him, the cameras came out, I was going to be a little more aggressive. And then I beat him. And then, I beat him in front of the cameras, and he felt some type of way about it. But, I do consider him a really good Connect 4 player, though. But I do consider myself a really good Connect 4 player as well. I would say me and him are definitely top 3, top 5 on the team. Me and him both, I would say.
Why do I get the sense that you are the biggest old soul on this team?
I think, man, I think it's just really where I grew up at, like just being in the country, then just going, hanging out with some of the older people. Like even when I was young, I used to just go sit under like the old people. Like they'll just be hanging out, relaxing and stuff. And I'll just go in there and just hang out and just be listening like all the time. So like, I think like some of that, and it just like rubbed off on my personality.
We'll finish with this one. Jeff at Be More Ravens fan. This is a good one. Who is faster, you or your running mate?
Oh, me, without a doubt. But PQ got some juice. But like I always say, this is what I always tell him. I'll be like, hey, my game, first 20 yards, I like myself over anyone. So I'll like when I get to like, you know, the 40s, 50s and stuff like that right now, I'm like, but like my first 20 yards, yeah, me all day.
And if PQ was here, would he agree?
Oh, you know, PQ's gonna say, he gonna say like he's gonna say, bro, stop all that, bro, like something like that, like bro, stop all that line, like or something like that. He'll be on something like that in a Louisiana accent.
Another great game for you two. You, him, and Gino lead the way in the tackles department. And episode 2 down in the books. Roquan, congratulations on 2-0. It's week 3 now. I know you guys quickly turn pages, and we know how Mondays are for recovery and rest. So, you know, needless to say, we appreciate your time and we look forward to doing it again.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
All right, I'll ask you this as my co-host, not that you're biased at all. Did I oversell the can't miss episode in the beginning or no?
I don't think so. I don't listen. Any Roquan interview is a can't miss, but a Roquan interview coming off a revenge game, which he so boldly said, like I had heard him say it the night before, but he came in a little stronger with it this time. It's a revenge game on the reigning division champs. Oh my goodness, his comments for JaMarr Chase had me rolling. It was clear he wanted to silence them. He felt like they were talking a ton. And like I said, Roquan's not afraid to talk, but he's not the type of guy to like throw the first jab. You know what I mean? It's more like, oh, we heard you last time. We heard you. It's been months that we've been sitting on it.
Yep.
And coming into the game, Roquan, we asked him, he didn't say much. So he let his play talk, and then he can talk after he let his play talk. You know what I mean? So this meant a lot to him. This meant a lot to these Ravens who were so upset about the way that playoff loss went down. There's more work to be done, but this is satisfying, and you should be able to enjoy it through at least Monday as a player, but as a fan, enjoy it all week long.
I really appreciated his insight on the Joe Burrow interception there. That Gino Stone kind of jumped the route there and was all over it. That was incredible behind the scenes, like on the boots on the ground kind of perspective in terms of the nuances of that play and the communication that happens within hundreds of plays throughout an NFL game, right? And I just thought he did a great job at kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit in terms of why he wasn't there, because he knew Gino had his back. And Gino's vision was ultimately what got that done, and probably film study as well. And so, man, I hope that to me, NFL players make seamless transitions to media, and you're seeing it right now with J.J. Watt. When they can explain, and Dan Orlovsky even does, even though his 4 to 6 timeline prediction for Lamar may be completely off. I think Dan does a great job at this too.
His film study is great. Maybe his predictions not so much.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I can say the same for myself. So there you have it. But
we can say it for all of us. We all have wrong predictions. But go ahead. Sorry.
When you explain that these high IQ football complex terms and sequences and situations in layman's terms, which I think Roquan did in that little piece of segment there with Gino, it allows us who've never played the game at that high of a level to see it the way he is. And it's almost like it simplifies something that was so magical in that moment, and obviously a game-changing play, down to something that's just easy to understand. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was definitely nice because, I thought he had said something about it in the post-game locker room, but he didn't really expand upon it. So
I picked up on that too. He definitely did.
Yeah. He said that he thought Joe Burrow had him on the high-low or whatever, but the way he expanded upon it in this interview, to me, what's impactful is that Gino, again, he's just coming off the bench. So to have that chemistry as if they've been starting forever. Now, Gino did get to play quite a bit last year. I'm trying to remember how much he and Roquan overlapped because Gino was filling in with injuries then. But then I know people came back, including Marcus Williams with the wrist. But the fact that it just makes you feel so good that in these split second high leverage situations that they can make decisions with full confidence in the next person. So it is not player speak for Roquan. Sometimes this stuff really is coach speak and sometimes it is player speak, but it's no longer player speak when you say, oh yeah, we just look at the other guys as starters. Okay, you're only saying that if you get on the field and then you don't actually play like it, that you don't play like you trust him. But it erases player speak when you say that and then you get on the field and you say, oh, I don't need to drop back because I know Gino's going to be there. You know what I mean? So he's backing up what he's saying. No, we believe these guys play like starters.
Yep, no question. One more time, just want to let you know how this is all coming to be here, and we're allowing, we're having this privilege to speak with Roquan week in and week out, and we do have to thank our title sponsor, Cybertech, for making it happen, a next-generation local recruiting, resourcing, and outsourcing firm. It's a new way to acquire resources, whether you're in need of new hires, contingent staff, or just seeking to outsource a business or technical function. Cybertech is the organization for you. If you're in need of resources and candidates and don't have the time to sift through dozens of resumes, Cybertech is a company that really understands your needs and presents candidates that are not in the open market within a 48-hour time period. Cybertech has over 40 years of combined experience in working with some of the largest organizations throughout the Baltimore area and nationally. So if you find yourself interested, you have a chance to meet myself, Sarah, and the Cybertech team for an introduction. And if you want to get started today, go to the email that we have included in the show notes, and you can directly reach out to someone as a representative from Cybertech. So a huge thank you to Cybertech for everything they're doing here for us inside the channel. So with that, Sarah, anything else before we close? We do have to shout out a couple of our returning patrons from inside the vault. They're supporting everything we're doing this month through Patreon. So Steven Dentz and Jason Zaratniak, thank you both for believing in what we're building here in Baltimore. And if you're interested in doing the same, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. Any closing thoughts from you, partner?
See you inside the vault Tuesday morning.
Yeah, Tuesday morning we'll have, of course, we're transitioning here to week 3. Something to watch is Anthony Richardson, the rookie quarterback for the Colts, who left Sunday's game with a concussion. So we'll see how he progresses throughout the week. We'll have an Indianapolis guest, of course, for a preview episode coming up later this week. And we're approaching the insane time of year. You got kids in school, fall activities are beginning. I've got about 100 things on my plate as well. So it's exciting. We're such creatures of habit. We're already 2 weeks in and it feels like we're still like in my mind, I'm like still in the summer because in Baltimore, it's still pretty hot. But yet, no, we're like more than halfway through September. So here we go. Here we go.
Listen, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for all of it. I know you're going to be going to London. We're going to just give it all to me. I'm loving this fall season. And man, again, what a way to start things. I love this.
Thanks, Roquan. Thanks, Cybertech. Thanks, everybody, for being interested in what we're doing and for the support. If you haven't already done so and you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tell a friend because we ain't going anywhere.